So yesterday, the Trump campaign released their first TV ad. And of course, it had a few problems. Now, I want to play that again for you, just in case you haven't seen it. And I want you to focus on the part about illegal immigration. It's very important. Let's take a look.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism. That's why he's calling for a temporary shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until we can figure out what's going on. He'll quickly cut the head off ISIS and take their oil. And he'll stop illegal immigration by building a wall on our southern border that Mexico will pay for.
We will make America great again.
All right, so if you looked at that immigration part, you'll see like, all these people are streaming across that border, right? And that's supposed to illustrate the Mexico-U.S. border. Well, it turns out, according to Politifact, or pretty much anybody who has access to Google and actually looks the damn thing up, the source of the image is not from the Mexican border. It's not from the Mexico-USA border. Actually, this image, this video, is from the Moroccan border. So basically, oops, or was it an oops? According to the Trump campaign, once this was pointed out, they, of course, in Trump fashion, decided to double down. NBC News on Monday asked Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski about this, and his response was, and I quote you, "No shit, it's not the Mexican border, but that's what our country's gonna look like." This was 1,000% on purpose. And not 100%, and not 200%, and 1,000%. Okay. Look, it's funny because whenever I imagine a Trump supporter saying something like that, I imagine like a monkey furiously beating on a keyboard. I know, right? That's terrible, but that's what I see. Or just a really, really angry person smashing a keyboard. Like, no, it's 1,000%. Make America great again. That's what I see. So, onto the substance of this. Now, I don't think this guy realizes or cares about the facts. Net immigration from Mexico is at net zero. Net zero. Or at least it was. Now, according to a new report, it seems to be getting the opposite. Instead of Mexicans coming into America, Mexicans are going back to Mexico. They're leaving. And even U.S.-born Mexicans, people who are U.S. citizens, are leaving the United States and going over to Mexico. I kid you not. This is actually from a Pew Research study, and it shows a net loss of 140,000 Mexican immigrants from the United States. Now, according to the whole numbers, there were 1 million Mexican migrants and their children left the United States for Mexico, while just over 860,000 left Mexico for the United States. So more people have left than are coming across the border. Now, I know, Trump supporters, you're going to be like, yes, get those dirty Mexicans back over to Mexico, where they belong. But see, that's not a good thing. That's actually terrible. You see, as Americans, we actually want people to see our country as good enough for them to want to come here. If they're leaving, well, that shows that there's something wrong. See, what's driving this reverse migration is actually changing economic, political, and demographic conditions. People are leaving the United States because we've gotten terrible. America, at this moment, is not what it used to be. It doesn't have as much opportunity. People used to want to come to America for things like better wages and good jobs. Those are gone. Those good jobs are gone. Now, there's a lot of different factors that factor into why we're losing jobs, right? It changes in automation as well as terrible trade deals, for example. A lot of those have caused jobs to go over to China, go to Mexico, et cetera, right, for lower wages. And of course, you have businesses opposing minimum wage increases, all of that stuff, in order to save themselves money. All those things have had a negative impact on Americans. And to be honest, right now, it's tough enough for Americans to find good jobs. Well, it's even harder for an immigrant. If it's hard enough for an American to get a good job where he or she can support themselves and their families, what chance does an immigrant have? It kind of explains some things. Now, finally, of course, in my opinion, this is intentional. Using the Moroccan video and then not telling anybody it was a Moroccan video. Remember, they had to wait till somebody pointed it out. And they're like, oh yeah, it was intentional. Well, this is what America will look like. Yeah, but it seems like it was kind of misleading to put it in there in the first place. And I point to a piece of evidence in this video. The logo for RepubblicaTV. The station, the Italian station that originally aired this footage from the Moroccan border, is strangely missing. Now, I work with video. I work with video editing software. And it's pretty easy to get rid of a logo if you know what you're doing. If they were trying to illustrate that this is what America would look like, as the Trump campaign manager wants to illustrate this as, right? This is what America will look like. Why eliminate the logo? Why not keep it there and show it? Look, this is what happens when Morocco doesn't secure their borders. This is why we need a border wall. Instead, they try to pass it off as the Mexican border. And if it weren't for fact checkers and people that actually look at this and go, hey, wait a minute here. We know this footage. This is not the Mexico border. There's something wrong here. If people didn't look into it, well, then nobody would know. Now, not that that makes a whole lot of difference to diehard Trump fans. They're not going to care because they've shown over and over and over that they don't care at all about facts. So I guess what good this does, I have no idea. But what it does reinforce is the idea, is the fact that Donald Trump, in almost everything that he does and he said on this campaign, is an absolute bald-faced lie.